Well, I didn't think we'd get this far. First things first, to see if we can hear anything. All right, good. I am audible. Audible. All right. OBS is being a kind of a pain. Give me just a second. Right, so everything else is stuck. So you're stuck with this image and you don't get to see anything else. But I'm sure you don't mind. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of artwork made by our man Shark. So Q&A portion. This is the funny part. I didn't plan anything for this. So we're just going to go through the list on the poll in the server, and then I'm going to have you guys type some questions in chat. And we're basically going to be here for as long as my brain is willing. Yeah, that's a good point, Game Boy. I don't think I've ever once had a plan with anything in this server. And even if I did, none of it ever went to plan. Can't put chat on the screen, unfortunately, because I have to pay a premium for that. Well, that and I just don't know how to stream. I don't do this often, if you couldn't tell. I'd love to have things on the screen, specifically for like the Q&A portion, so I know what the hell I'm saying, and you guys know what the hell I'm getting shit from. And I'm getting yelled at to go on Twitch. Nah, I'm good. I might. We're just going to start at the poll. I say poll. It's not really a poll. It's more so just a forum. But I will, what I will be doing is saying the names of the people who have asked said question, because for the people that are in chat, their names are going to be right there anyways. So first question we have is from Alex the Kid. Commander Lost, I heard that you were a former Blitz diver, yet you still have good terms with them. What were your motivations of creating the Wrathdivers faction? So, easiest way to put this, when I was in the Blitz divers, just as one of them, I kind of just saw like the community that was brought about by a faction, and I was like, what if I did this myself? What if I just tried? Because at the very least, I could try, and if it doesn't go anywhere, all right, sick, I'm still a Blitz diver then. And then you legends came along and filled the server with 1,000 people a year in, but mostly thanks to the work of SES. I have to give credit where credit is due. Super Earth Salute definitely gave us the push we needed. I wasn't expecting to actually get a response from them. But the rest of that was you guys. That was your push. Absolute fucking legends. I didn't think I'd be sitting here. Oh, second question is from Lightbringer, Defiant Commander. Lost, when are you going to play Repo with me again? Whenever I feel like it, Gizmo. Whenever I'm free and feel like doing so. You have to meet both of those criteria, otherwise no. Third question we have is from someone in chat. We have from the Hellslayer. Lost, what inspired you to make the Wrathdivers after leaving the Blitzdivers? Like, what's the inspiration of the origin of the name and such? Where did I get the inspiration for Wrath? That's actually a good question. Because even I don't remember, honestly. I know I had an idea and a plan and a reason for naming us as such, but I'm gonna be real. I don't remember what that was and how it got to that. But we're here now. If anything, it was probably just like the strength of humanity as one. You know, that kind of thing. Next question we have is from Fire Safety Officer Byrne. Do you plan on hosting more sessions, either other games? I know you do with Battlefield, but it would be nice for others too. That would require me to set up events for that, which, being a community server and being as I have to keep a promise now to actually set stuff up and be active in the server now, you know, as much as I can be, I probably will start setting up events for other games. With Battlefield 6 coming out, if it looks really good, I may consider that for an event. It also kind of depends on what everyone has, specifically for games. And as Shark has mentioned, we have done Deep Rock Galactic once. We actually have a VC specifically for Deep Rock Galactic for the Danger Darkness Dwarves. Next question here is from the Sunrider. Any advice for people creating a faction or a company with a faction, and any tips you can give on organization? Do not come to me for advice on that. I am god-awful at this. I am the last person to give you advice. I think the best advice I could give you is just do it. Like, you're gonna have to be forced to learn stuff on the way, and it's gonna be hard as hell. I'm a living example. But once you do, I mean, you're pretty much free to just say, screw it, we ball. Debating whether or not I ignore this next question, but I have a feeling I get yelled at. From the Life Shaper, what is your stance on shooting Blackstar point blank with a recoilless? Only if he gives me a reason to, which he hasn't done so yet. He's given me quite the opposite of reasons to do so. This man has kind of carried the server for a decent while, I'm not going to lie. And Blackstar's response, what's your stance on shooting Isla with a Isla? I forgot. With a hell bomb. I'm just going to let you two hash your issues out together. What's your stance on Dragon wanting to sacrifice me by Iron Knight Ash? I don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to choose to ignore it. Rest of this is conversations. I see mods had to intervene here. Some of these are repeats. Hi, Inspector Black Angel. What were your motives behind founding the Wrathdivers? Or why did you decide to start the Wrathdivers? These are all questions I had answered already. Next one. Have you played Enid Dream Barbecue? I actually intended on streaming that game. Believe it or not, I just have not installed it yet, and I have not done that stream because I'm lazy. But that is a plan of mine, Wrathdiver Ento. Next question by Alex the Kid. What's a Voidborn? That is a me character thing and not the topic we are discussing at this point. Next one by Fire Safety Officer Byrne again. Do you plan on doing more other game events like with Battlefield and Deep Rock? I had answered that earlier. Let's see. I'm having to scroll a lot. Here's a good one by High Inspector Black Angel. If you could go back to the beginning of the Wrathdivers, would you have done anything differently with its founding? Absolutely. If I could have. Because there's a lot that I really should have set up along the way. But if I'm being 100% honest, given how it's gone now, I don't know if I would actually. I almost like the way it went, the chaos of it all. If anything, that might be part of the charm. Another one from Enraged Hell Commander N-Man. What shows or games, aside from Helldivers, have you been playing or watching recently? Just curious. P.S. When you get the time, watch Murder Drones if you haven't yet. Absolute cinema. Believe it or not, I've already seen the entire series. I listened to quite a bit of its soundtrack. It's already in my playlist. As for shows, I don't actually watch TV a whole lot, if I'm being honest. I'm not big on TV. I don't really have the either attention span might be the word I'm looking for, or just focus for it. But as for games, my main game is Minecraft, but when I'm doing stuff out of the house with other friends, it's typically Yu-Gi-Oh! I like the funny card game. Next question from Invixity Sucks. If I hypothetically made a group about some Helldivers, what would it take to say ally? Very hypothetical. And hypothetically, how would you make the logo and banner? Back then, I would have said I'd be more than willing to ally, but due to recent issues and recent events, I've kind of cut off all future alliances because it makes it really hard to run a server when you've also got people trying to ally with you and you have to actively research a whole other faction and figure out if they've done anything that might conflict with an in-lore alliance. And as for logo and banner, that is your choice. That is not mine. Hell, I didn't even technically make this one. Now I gotta scroll through more text. Here's one by Rex, Magistrate of Wrath. Favorite music genre? I don't have a favorite genre. If I had to say the one I've listened to most is definitely not very well known, but speedcore and full flavor. But I do like a lot of rock. I do like just a lot of music. I just like music, period. Hell, my main playlist is at 1,000 songs. Let's see. Why? Do I even answer this one? Do I even entertain this one? Pie raisin cookies. Why does Lost sound like JFK? And how has Lost Taxes been going? Apparently that's an inside joke. Somehow I don't get it. I don't know why I sound like JFK to some of you. I don't see it. But, you know, that's just some other people's hearing. As for my taxes, I don't want to talk about taxes. That's not what we're here for. I play video games to escape real life. By Supernova, what is the loadout that you use the most? I really don't have a set loadout. That is more so based on the primary I use and what armor I feel like wearing. But I do have set loadouts for the bugs and the bots. The squids, I use a variety of stuff. As for the bugs, I wear a full fire setup and go straight cookout, crisper, and flamethrower with every fire stratagem you can think of except for the sentry, because the fourth would be a jump pack. As for bots, I wear the Kodiak helmet with the Groundbreaker armor and the Judgment Day cape with the good old Adjudicator Senator combo, and a recoilless with 3 other Eagle stratagems. I just find it funny to go full anti-tank setup. But as British Melon mentions in this post, I do love the Quasar Cannon. I am a certified Quasar Cannon enjoyer, and it will never not be my favorite support weapon. Next one we have is actually by Blackstar himself. How is it being a Blitz Diver at first before making the Wrathdivers? I fucking love those guys. Blitz Divers are great, man. I actually, at some points, wonder what it would be like if I just stuck with the Blitz Divers the whole time. Like, where would I be? But no, I love those guys. They're fucking legends. Gotta scroll here. By British Melon, how much longer until we get special roles in a rank system? Special roles? So, other than like our divisions and whatnot, I can look into more roles if that's what you guys want. But as for a rank system, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are no ranks within the Wrathdivers. We are all equals. And I do not intend on changing that. I do not want to change that. And I don't think it should change. Let's see. By Hellslayer, if there was one thing you can change, what would you change within the faction? I would ban the pregnant man emoji. That's about it. If there were a way to do it, I would ban that emoji. Next one by Pickle, Prophet of Conviction. What inspired the Wrathdiver logo, and what program software did you use to make logo? I didn't make it. That was made by Astral Shark, the absolute legend. But what he used was, I believe, Adobe something or other. I'm not educated in that field. But as for the inspiration, as our player card that we use to distinguish ourselves from other factions is the Judgment Day player card, I figured, as you can see here, why not just a purple Judgment Day card with our motto on it, and a very angry-looking skull with our old HQ in the left eye. And we have our fleet designation on the second swoosh. I just gave Shark some of the ideas. As for the actual creation, that was all of his work. Next one. By Skulker, favorite faction to fight and reason why, and favorite loadout you've used in recent memory. Mentioned loadouts earlier, but favorite faction to fight and reason why, I don't have to tell you this one. It's the Illuminate. We're here for their extinction, and I will see to it that we make damn sure that occurs. But also, squids, I don't know why people find them boring. I just love fighting the squids. The atmosphere on those maps, like the dread they're supposed to bring you, and having just, wrath in the face of oblivion. Like, that's a species that we, in lore, should have been absolutely terrified by, and all I saw was a target-rich environment with things I really want to kill. Oh, I'm seeing we're all in the post now. I told you guys we'd be doing this in the YouTube chat. But I'll do one more from the posts here. Sorry, my voice is dying. I'm not actually seeing any in here. So what we're going to do is move to actual chat now. And we're going to I'm going to have you guys ask some questions. And we're going to see what we go from there. My voice dying could be a problem. No. Nah, I've been through worse. Shark's got to head out. Lost, how much money would I have to give you for you to reenact a JFK speech? How do I answer that? Deadass, how do I respond to that? Like, I'm waiting for your reply on that. Shark said $20. If I can make money off of it, sure. We'll stick with $20, actually. Don't actually pay me to do that. I'll just do it. Alas, if you ever retire from the group, who would you leave in charge? That is... That's a hard one to answer because that's looking really far in the future. And if I'm being 100% honest, if I did retire, it would probably mean I don't know if I'd properly retire from this. That'd be like way in the future. But the most I can really confirm there is say we get to like Helldivers 3, say that's actually a thing, and I'm working full time or whatnot. What I'd probably do is just have someone put in charge for the most part, like one of the more trusted mods, and have them take over. And in the time I do get to be around in the server, I can just pop in and do what I must. But that one's not a set in stone answer. That's just a really hard question to answer, and only time will tell. Let's see. What's your opinion of the Chaos Divers? Do you support them? Recent events make that also difficult to answer. At one point, I was starting to kind of see eye to eye with them. High Command was kind of making some bad decisions that were getting a lot of people killed. But with recent events, they've kind of lost their way as well. And initially, we would be allied with the apostates, but, they started killing civies, which we're not about. What's the lore behind the NMSS? How did we fund it? I wasn't ready for that one, Goose. Wasn't quite there yet. I haven't done a whole lot of world building for that, but I didn't make these things without plans in mind to explain how. Most of the funding for it wasn't 100% funding, although there was definitely funding involved. Most of it was straight raw material gathering from the fronts we fought on. We can't have everyone on the front lines all at the same time, obviously. Some people have got to be running logistics, and some people might just be resource gathering, cleaning up what we leave in our wake of destruction. And whatever's left behind, we can use for future projects. And one such project was the NMSS, the New Meridia Space Station. Technology, the squids, we did have the one point where I saw some of their warp tech to go on the other side of the wormhole. So honestly, there's probably a little bit of reverse engineered squid tech in there. But most of it is designs off of the DSS and Ultra Destroyers and whatnot. By the way, guys, I might be doing some live diving later. I'd probably have to, the way I have set on OBS, I'd probably have to end stream and start a new one for diving because I don't have a game capture set up right now, and OBS is a pain, and I'm not experienced in streaming whatsoever. But I can definitely start doing some dives later on here. I've sat down for the stream, and I'm not going anywhere other than to hydrate. What if the Terminids weren't infesting Meridia, and what if Meridia never became a black hole? We'd still be the Wrathdivers, but we wouldn't really have a symbol to mark off of it, though we would definitely still be purple. We would still have the purple coloring. That's mostly because purple is my favorite color. Goose, that's a good one. However, the Armageddon officers isn't really a lore thing. It's kind of just a server thing because, obviously I can't run a server all on my own, especially now that we've reached the 1,000 member milestone. But if that did ever become part of the lore, I think what we do is we just have like more seasoned veteran. They would just straight up be more seasoned veterans. Then why am I captain? Because you've been here pretty much the longest. Shark's my second in command is because he was literally the co-founder. He was the one that helped me make this server and get it set up. Same with you, Blackstar. You were responsible for most of the actual technological setup. Like I said, Blackstar, that'll probably be part of the lore in the future, but for now, that's not exactly something we have set up. Chase divers are all fun and games till they get political. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. So far, I've only had good interactions with the cheese divers. Has the faction ever got into conflict with other factions? We've definitely had to point the cannon at some, but most of the time it ends peacefully. There's an easy way that stacks for lore-wise. Like I said, that's future setup and whatnot. Would you be willing to play Battlefield 6 beta? I've been asked several times by my friends, and most of the time I've said no, I'm just going to wait for the full release to come out, see how it goes, and move from there. Remember, no pre-orders. I'm going to be real. Going into a stream without a plan and any setup kind of feels like being in a big VC with no one talking except for by text. I could have done this in a stage setup, but that is really hard to manage. Melon has a question. What is the question? Can we make Moradesh the new HQ? No. The NMSS is stationed just outside Sirius into the in like the corner. I wish I could pull up a companion on here. Yeah, there's probably a lot of stream delay. Bitrate is abysmal. But if you look on companion and you look for the planet known as Sirius, the NMSS is stationed just out on the edge of the galaxy from that. Sirius would be the closest planet to us. Oh boy, OBS is frying. I have been asked by Undead Chaos how long I'm streaming for. I'm gonna be real. It's kind of up to how long I've got the energy for this for. We probably start doing dive-ins here in about 3 to 13 minutes. Kind of depends. How many flamethrower fuel canisters do you think you've burned through through your whole diving career? I'll just leave it this way. The United States would not be happy with the amount of oil I burned. Or they would be. I don't know. They might be into that. Do we produce our own vehicles and mechs on the NMSS for diving? That's a mix. So we do produce some of our own, but we do still collect and keep some of Super Earth's equipment. Because, you know, we're only one army. I'm having to fix some stuff while we're doing this stream. It's very scuffed. I'm also witnessing a lot of that emoji being spammed in places. I'm just gonna allow it this once. So do we have the material and funding to have heated seats in our cars? I don't know. I'll look into it. What's your opinion on about each ministry? I'm pretty sure I'm being watched by the Grand Inspector right now, so I'm not at liberty to say any of that. I'm not at liberty to discuss any of that. What's cooled seats? Hated and cooled seats. We'll look into just conditioned seats. Nux, I swear to God. I'll put you in the timeout corner. Okay. Solar-powered cars. We're in an intergalactic war. I don't know how many of those planets actually have stars above them close enough for solar power to be viable. In this creaky chair. The idea that we have seated and cooled seats in all four. Massage chairs up for the front too. I mean, what if it made you guys more wrathful and more angry to have uncomfortable cars? Just something for consideration. You know, the whole lore on Darth Vader, his suit was made literally to be as painful as possible to make him more angry. It kind of worked. I feel like cold is easy to deal with. Desert planets make me want air-conditioned cars so I can escape reality. Yeah. That's honestly fair. Maybe we'll have like a backstock of air-conditioned cars for desert planets specifically, but when you're in the cold, you better dress for the cold. I prefer ice planets because it actually allows for stealth. I still have the setup from the last video I did on here. Will we ever have movie nights or any sort of scheduled events ran by you or any other mod? Movie nights? That's a good question. If you want to run that event, feel free, dude. I'm not opposed to a movie night. I suggest the B movie. What's in the stim we use? Is the secret ingredient white powder? No drugs are involved. I'll leave it at that. You wouldn't be happy with the answer. Season 1 of SpongeBob Night is crazy. Actually, you know what? What if we just did SpongeBob? What if we did? I assume the stims come with capsaicin in them. That's one of the ingredients. That's one of them. Current management for a strategy for liberation is kind of garbage. Yeah. It's part of the reason we're not up in lines with high command. But hey, we're at 1,000 now. We might be able to actually make an impact. That's also assuming all 1,000 are actively online. It's typically only 200 to 300 that are actually online at a given time because there's a lot of disparity between like time zones and whatnot. How do Merlin 12 and Albatross 1 work? Are they repurposed and non-loyalist pilots? Do we specially train them? In lore, Merlin 12 and Albatross 1 were actually pilots that I worked with before I was even a blitz diver. Because you guys know the main reason I use the Legionnaire helmet on my stealth kit is because I was a former pilot in lore. So they're as trained as I am. If anything, Merlin 12 is probably a better pilot than me. As for Albatross 1, former Pelican pilot, followed our vision. Lore post win. I've got to do a crap ton of world building, and this character of mine on my profile pic that you're looking at, I've actively been doing a lot of world building and story building for him as well. So basically, I'm going to be doing a lot of world building and story building for two separate things. So if we get a lore post, it will be very much unprovoked, and you're not really going to know when it's coming, but it will happen at some point. We get designated squads for different things, like spec up squads are important for important missions, even if it's just a lore thing. That was kind of the idea of the divisions. They were all set for specific purposes on specific fronts. But that didn't really gain a lot of traction, unfortunately. So now it's just there as more of a decorative thing. You and I have talked lore a lot in the past. I guess I care greatly for lore. Yeah, I've just, I'm not going to say I haven't had the time to do it. I just haven't. It's a mix of both. I genuinely haven't had the time for a lot of stuff because work and now school upcoming. We go into technical college. That's definitely going to get in the way of some things. But also, I've been running a house on my own for the past like month because family was out on a trip. Was the inspiration for the Wrathdivers tied to Warhammer? I am actually not extremely educated in the Warhammer 40k universe. There's definitely a lot of things that I can see kind of align with them after looking into it, but none of it was ever directly inspired from Warhammer. Cast servers yeah, I could see. I mean, the whole thing. People were literally saying, because I saw this in the comments of our video from Super Salute, when a lot of the factions were appearing, people were saying we were literally Horus Heresing this game. The Salamanders. Oh, the Salamanders definitely. No, it was direct. Also, they got huge quick. Like they gained a lot of traction within the factions community. I remember when they were at like almost 100 members, and if I look now, they are at. How do I look at this on PC? I'll just pull my phone. When I initially saw them, they were at like almost 100, not even 100 yet. And now they are at, I can find them here. They're at 543 now. They got real big real quick. People really liked their idea. You can't change my headcanon. That loss is the Emperor of Mankind. I'm not. I don't know where you got this from. Yeah, just another game's fandom uniting under another game. I mean, yeah, if you bring two interests aligned into one place, it's a lot easier to gain traction for a faction. Bars. Last time we had to make calamari in your own way, like most people make it, bread and battered recipe. What's your in-character reason for hating the squids so much? I know I've got mine. Being forced to not be able to tell anyone that they're back. This was before they actually came back on Calypso, and before the Wrathdivers were even a thought. Being forced for the entirety of my civilian and military life to not be able to tell anyone that they're back and they've actively taken the majority of my family and friends via abduction, and then finally seeing them and getting to face them head on, we took our opportunity to actively kill all of them. Let's get a series called Cooking with Loss, where he shows you how to kill every enemy with a flamethrower effectively. Honestly, if I could make proper videos in shorts format and I was actually good at video editing, I would do that. But I'm not. But maybe if I get some practice in it, yeah, we could get a little short series going as that. As Wrathdivers leader, how significant is your voice for other communities? I don't know how significant it is. I would prefer it didn't have any real significance, in the sense that I don't want one big faction to dictate the actions of others. I mean, there's people we've been allied with that have existed just as long as us, or if not before us. And even if they don't have like the same members or the same amount of like wartime feats, I don't want my voice to be anything that dictates what they do. I would rather they be their own thing, do their own stuff, and have their own, that's their faction. That's not my creation, that's theirs. What's your catchphrase every time you kill multiple opponents? I don't think I've ever had a catchphrase. I kind of just do it. There's a lot of people in our community that would love to help out regarding video editing, media management, artwork, and photography. See, then I probably have to pay people, and I definitely cannot afford to do that. Or I would at least very much feel obligated to do so, because at that point they would deserve it. Where are we sitting now? I gotta... Ah, yes, OBS notifying me that our stream is actively dying. Next, it's more so a me thing. I know you guys wouldn't mind, but I just am not entirely comfortable with that quite yet. Maybe in the future we'll start like making separate departments and whatnot, and maybe we can have like separate layers for command. Yeah, no, Blackstar's he's literally done all this for free. I do eventually want to pay him something, and you're not stopping me, Blackstar. The stream looking like Spider-Man in the hospital bed? Dear God, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. Are there any fun facts about the Wrathdivers that you want to share but haven't ever really had the chance to? Biggest one I can think is just one that I thought people already knew, but I noticed a lot of people didn't, is we're not a dissident faction. Well, okay, maybe by Super Earth definitions we are, but we're not in direct opposition to Super Earth like some people thought we were. We just don't work under their wing anymore, and for the most part, we're just trying to do our own thing because High Command was making stupid decisions, and we seceded simply for the fact that we figured, fine, we'll do it ourselves and focus on the things that actually need to be taken care of. For the biggest one was during the attacks on Calypso. After Calypso blew over and people were returning to other fronts, I noticed the squids were finally gaining presence in the bottom sectors, and High Command kept taking us to the automatons while the bugs were also closing in. So I'm sitting here thinking, why are we not focusing on the things that are getting a lot closer? And look at it now. We have squids with an established presence below us, which is not great. On one hand, we get squids to fight on a constant. On the other hand, they're running rampant, and that's not what we want. We want them dead. I wouldn't say they're actively trying to make their divers die, but I would definitely say they don't care if they do. You know, they kind of treat, though they treat the Helldivers as, you know, Super Earth's elite, they kind of send them out like expendable numbers, which bothers me greatly. Yeah. Wrathdivers are not disposable. Each and every single one of your lives is valuable to the absolute maximum extent. If a single Wrathdiver were to canonically go down in the field, it would be a tragedy. What's some I could put that in a quote is Wrathdivers will not be a statistic. Every loss is a tragedy. With 16 deaths every mission. Yeah, that is a tragic extraction. But we use that to fuel, dare I say, fuel our wrath. Every loss fuels the push forward. Probably about 5 minutes here, and we'll start doing dives. Whether or not I live stream it is kind of up to my discretion, whether or not I feel like it. Me surviving every hell bomb I activate only to die to impact. Rip. I'm sure the field medics can buff that out. You'll be aight. I was hoping there'd be more questions in the post because this would have ended up being a lot shorter of a stream had I not suggested that people in chat could put some questions here. Your brain being squished probably is okay. We have helmets. As long as the helmet doesn't get punctured or dented. Yeah, buff out my ribcage that exited my body. That we cannot take care of. Every major order hasn't really had a point in effective in the war. We're not taking strategic positions or cutting the retreat, or etc. That one's also because we've only ever had one successful gambit in this game, and that one time is because they messed up the galactic impact modifier and we ended up taking a bunch of, you know, territory back that we definitely did not earn. Makes it a bad helmet, doesn't it? Yeah, if your helmet dents, I mean, just get a new helmet in the next life. Which kind of sucks, but you know, you get the point. If the helmet doesn't break before the head does, it's a bad helmet. Fair. Guess we'll have to go back to research and development. See, Goose gets me, yeah. I just realized there's a Q&A option in the engagement part. Have to reinvent Super Earth's bum-ass helmet. I mean, they do alright. It's just I know we can make better. If you can make better, why wouldn't you? I'm going to start a poll here. We're going to start a poll here. I don't know if I'll go live for the dives, but in about 2 minutes here we will be starting some. So here's my question to you all. Are you gonna join us diving? Are you busy? Or are you doing something else? Will there ever be more community engagement things? Not like events, but like pings and conversation starters. As long as I'm active, I can probably keep doing that. Question of the day for engagement? That could be a thing. Oh, right. I did something for this. Wrathdiver tip of the day. I just haven't kept up on it. I'll just have to start picking that up again. I think the next time I do a stream like this, I definitely need to put some music on in the background because the silence is deafening. Looks like the majority of you guys are going to be diving for the rest of the day, or busy or doing something else. Perfectly understandable. But with that, I do believe we are going to go ahead and start diving here. Might stream it, might not. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a couple dives and then I'll decide to start streaming. I'll go ahead and end the poll there. Looks like the majority of us are going to be diving. Yep. Next time I'll definitely have like music on or, some proper streaming equipment, but other than that, I mean, I had a good time and hey, we're at 1,000 now. We're in the big leagues, boys. It's about time we start acting like it. Viva la humanitatis.